you forgot one important thing, my sticky-fingered friend.
Oh, is he going to help him steal the notebook? Or borrow it? Borrow it, right? Welcome back to another School Principal Reacts. If you don't know me, my name is Brandon, and I'm a high school principal from the U.S. state of Georgia. We're continuing to go through Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Very excited to keep going through the second season. I saw that I think in 2 episodes from now, I finally get to the Vice Principals episode, and you guys have been talking about that for some time. But this one is called Notebooks. I see Lisa here holding a notebook of some sort. Don't know anything else about it. So I'm excited to get into this one. Notebooks, having a notebook, even just this image brings back some memories of having notebooks like this that are written on and have stickers and kind of in bad shape at times. But let's go ahead and get into this episode. Just as a reminder, if you're not a subscriber, but you enjoy my content, especially if you watch this series from week to week, please consider subscribing. Just hit the button down below. I would really appreciate it.
So that is why the Russian chemist
Sweeney. I've been missing Sweeney, honestly. I remember the first season was filled with Mr. Sweeney. He's a great character, but I really haven't seen him. I've seen more Mr. Wright, Mr. Monroe, and really just the students. There were a few episodes there where it seemed like there were almost no teachers in the whole episode. It was just the kids, but here we've got Mr. Sweeney. Can't wait.
Mendeleev is considered the father of the periodic table.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. I have a feeling that you all are going to comment on this. There are certain subjects that you all tend to comment on, and I love reading those about your own school experience or how it was when you were in school. This definitely strikes a chord for me. Now, I was never good at drawing. I really, still to this day, cannot draw or paint or any of that stuff well. But I would definitely attempt to draw, even if it was little stick figures and different things in notebooks, or play hangman with my friends or something like that. And then the teacher sees it, and really the concern is not that you're drawing, but that you are not paying attention in class to the content. And some teachers, the best teachers, actually try to incorporate that. In other words, they'll say to a student that likes to draw, hey, instead of doing this assignment this way, why don't you draw me? Ask them to draw something that demonstrates their understanding of the particular concept that the class is learning.
This will be on tomorrow's test. Mr. Bigby.
Uh-oh.
You've not been doing well in my class.
Okay, legit.
That's not true. I haven't been doing well in any class.
Well, actually, it is true, Ned. He said you haven't been doing well in my class. He didn't say just my class, but all your classes, including Mr. Sweeney's. And so I'm wondering what angle he will take here. Just saying, good for Mr. Sweeney for not just saying don't draw. Say, okay, you're not doing well. And therefore, I hope this is where he goes with this. Like, I want you to do well. Therefore, you may want to cut down on the drawing or save it for a certain time in the class, like at the beginning or the end, or some way of letting Ned pursue this without it getting in the way of his progress in the class.
No wonder you've been doing poorly. This notebook is terrible. This is how a notebook should look.
Okay.
Behold, the golden notebook.
And this is silly, and he may not provide the best example, but I do like that he is showing Ned. He's not just saying, hey, do it this way or don't draw and then just walk away. He's giving Ned an exemplar. And even though this is kind of silly of it being in a trophy case, putting up student work and student exemplars is actually a best practice. So I don't hate this so far. I'm sure it'll take a silly turn.
Why is it called the Golden Notebook? Is it magic? Is it written in golden?
Probably
No,
not.
and no. It was written by a former A+ student of mine, Sam Golden. It's
Golden. Sam Golden is the former student. Wow. Okay. So, but putting up student work and showing students that, like, this is how you need to do it, that's not necessarily bad. Let's see what happens here.
And it includes the history of the periodic table. Now, if your notebook was more like this notebook, You might stand a chance on passing ground.
Okay, that's way too harsh. I knew he was going to take a turn for the worst here. But again, showing him this is not an issue. Now, I'm wanting a history of the periodic table. How does that? I doubt that's in the science standards. Now, knowing the table and some of the elements on it and how they interact with each other and the physical world, yeah, for sure. But he starts yelling at him in his face. Nah, he had me up to that point.
Golden notebook. You will be mine.
Oh, don't tell me he's gonna steal it. Oh, man, hope not.
I am telling you, the golden notebook is amazing. It's like Sweeney's entire science class in one beautiful notebook. Without the lameness or the Sweeney-ness. So, when are you gonna steal it? I'm not gonna steal it.
That's what I thought. It sounds because he said it will be mine. Like, what else could that mean, right?
I'm going to borrow it.
Oh, borrowing
Stealing
it.
back. Borrowing good.
Did you ask him to loan it to you?
Not exactly. But this way he can't say no. I'll return it after tomorrow's test, which I really, really need to do well on.
The key to test success is a good notebook. I'd be totally lost without my notebook.
Okay.
Lost my notebook.
Maybe you left it in here.
All right. So there's usually at least like 2 plot lines going on. And it's notebooks, right? So Ned wants this golden notebook, and now Mose has lost her beloved notebook. I'm guessing that's how we get there.
Last class.
Notebooks are so old school.
Oh,
Welcome
he's
to the
going high
future.
tech. Oh, man. And it's funny, during this era, yeah, you had scanners and things, but it was a lot less common and more trouble to do that, to scan stuff. Now they're everywhere. I mean, everything's got a scanner. You can pull out your smartphone and scan stuff and make it a PDF, but he's got he's got an extension cord plugged into himself or by this little adapter here. I don't know where he's going with this.
You've been standing there listening the whole time?
I'm listening and recording. Check it
Can't
out.
do that.
You've been standing there listening the whole time?
The setup records every class on tape, so I don't have to take another note.
Okay, all right. So in this era, you couldn't do this. Teachers generally didn't record their lessons. I've seen some that did even during this time, but it was a lot more rare. And usually if they did it, it was for the purposes of some sort of certification, or now you got the EdTPA. A lot of schools don't allow you to just go around and record stuff. Most schools nowadays, with the prevalence of cell phone cameras, just about everybody's got one. You're going to have some rules about when and where you can record, and you generally can't just walk around recording people. And people say, what about my rights? Yes, if you're on public property, but not if you're on private property and you are in school as a student. You just can't do that. It depends on the school handbook. But nowadays, many teachers do record their lessons, and they'll say that it's on Google Classroom or whatever platform that they're using. They do that as a way to preserve notes or their own lectures.
And I don't have to carry around those heavy notebooks. So Renee, you're gonna steal the golden notebook.
Not steal, borrow.
Be around here somewhere.
Is that it? Is that it?
Innermost Thoughts by SC. SC.
Hmm.
I saw Lisa take money from Durga's purse.
Oh, SC. I don't know who SC is. That sounds pretty serious and pretty out of character for Lisa. Wow, stealing from a teacher. Hopefully this is not true here.
Lisa Zimo's a thief?
Hope not.
Here's my notebook.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not going to steal it.
Not steal, borrow.
There you go. She's gonna borrow it.
Check. Recording levels. Check. Tape length. Check.
Oh my goodness.
Fake open eyes. Check.
Fake open eyes. So he's just gonna sleep during all his classes. I know some students who probably wish they had this. And if the teacher doesn't notice that, then that's his fault.
Now it's time to start taking notes the easy way.
Oh my goodness.
So are we all set?
Okay.
Almost.
This looks like maybe a firing here, but let's see what happens.
You forgot one important thing, my sticky-fingered friend.
Oh, is he going to help him steal the notebook? Or borrow it? Borrow it, right? Wow, if he does this, if he goes through with this kind of Mission Impossible style here, yeah, that's a firing. But let's give him a chance. Let's see what happens.
Duplicate notebook to switch with the golden notebook so Sweeney won't know it's missing?
No. Caramel-covered apples with nuts to celebrate a job well done.
What in the world?
Just hook me up.
Okay, yeah, right there. That's a potential firing, Gordy. You can't help students steal things. And there's a bunch of problems with this. Getting up in an air duct, and that's a big old. I've never seen a duct like that where it's that big. I'm no air conditioning expert, but that seems kind of big. And it supports both of them in there just fine. Maybe they had to install that from all the other times they've fallen through the ceiling. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's a potential firing, Gordy.
Oh! Oh! Gordy!
And you know what's funny? If Gordy is willing to do this, he's probably got a key to this classroom. He could just walk in and take it. And schools do have cameras. I immediately thought, but he would be caught on camera. Wouldn't this be caught on camera? That's way crazier than just walking in and stealing it. But it is much funnier. Uh-oh.
Hi, Ned. The door was unlocked.
Yeah, I was about to say, you could probably get in there a much easier way and just take it real quick rather than do this silliness.
Is more fun?
It's been
Probably.
around.
Uh-oh. Oh, man. Knocking over stuff. Oh, no.
Over there!
Did you see that brown container? He barely touched it and it shattered. Like, it was probably glued back together or something. That's a little crazy.
Oh, man!
Hopefully that was a dummy.
Okay, I'll have to make
It didn't look like him.
Make the switch!
Oh. Got it. Oh, man. And, you know, there's a lot of problems with that. Endangering Ned. He bumped his head into a glass case and it shattered and messing up Mr. Sweeney's room. But I'm going to include all that in one big firing for that incident. That's probably fair. SC. Who's SC?
What are you reading? Nothing.
Nothing. Your eyes have been glued to that notebook since you came in.
This notebook is unbelievable. You'll never believe what's written in it.
You know, it sort of reminds me of the Burn book in Mean Girls. If you remember that, there were all sorts of rumors and negative things in there. And I can't imagine Lisa stealing, so I'm assuming these are a bunch of false rumors written in this notebook. It does really remind me of the Burn book from that movie. Check that video out if you haven't seen it. It's one of the first videos on this channel, my review of Mean Girls, the movie.
Hey, I didn't take any money from Durga. This is not true.
Lisa, never let untrue statements bother you.
And she's going to see an untrue statement. It's going to bother her. I wonder what it is.
Hey, I never made out with anybody named Billy behind the school. I don't even know a Billy.
That's Loomer's first name. But no,
Oh.
right here it says he's a big sissy.
What in the world?
I'll sue for defamation of character. Who wrote these?
I love this character. She said, I'll sue for defamation of character. Okay, that's funny.
Someone with the initials SC.
SC.
SC Claire Sawyer.
That's CS.
Who cares who wrote it? It's a real page turner, and I'm learning things about people I never knew in this school.
Things like Jennifer is so stuck up it makes me want to puke.
Oh.
We have got to find this SC.
Oh, it's Susie. I was just thinking right before it showed it, I was going through the characters like, who could that be? Susie? I don't know what Susie's last name is. I know they call her Crabgrass. Susie Crabgrass. I don't know if that's her actual name. I thought it was a nickname. But and it has SC all over her notebook. Interesting.
Susie Crabgrass.
Uh-huh.
I can't believe Susie would write such nasty things.
Does it say anything about me? They're not in.
Or maybe she was framed. I'm thinking it's really someone else, like Missy. I could see Missy doing this for sure. And then she just framed her because she got mad at her and they're not friends anymore, something like that. But let's see.
I'm way too busy reading. It's a golden notebook. It's awesome. Hey, did you know the atomic number for nickel is 28? Look.
Oh, he knows science now.
Hey, Mr. Stealing. I mean, Sweeney. I'm so ready for tomorrow's theft. I mean, test.
Oh, man, this one's pretty funny. I like this episode so far.
Did you repeat that last part, Ned? I ran out of.
Oh, man, and that takes me back. Those big old VHS tapes. Wow. And he's got him, I think, was his name Max or something? I remember him as the vice president from the elections episode and the forger episode also, but I think his name's Max. Maybe. I may be making that up.
Is this the famous notebook that called me a sissy?
Mm-hmm.
CH hates Billy's guts and is gonna kick his butt?
CH.
CH. Coconut head.
Coconut head. Oh, they want that notebook.
Hey! There's
Uh-oh.
a C.
I'm wondering, did she really write it and she knows and she's just running away? Or she just sees a bunch of people running at her? I would run away too, probably. A pitchfork? And I've seen landscapers and stuff. I don't know why they would be inside the school if these are... Okay. All right. This is really weird. So these guys, if they're custodians, why do they have a pitchfork and a wheelbarrow inside the school? If they're landscaping people, which you do have at a lot of schools, you'll have either outside landscapers or big districts will have groundskeepers. That's what they do. Then they wouldn't be inside the school taking out the trash. You wouldn't typically have one person that did both of those types of jobs, but I guess theoretically you could at a small school, but you wouldn't put the trash in a wheelbarrow. That part makes no sense. Now, if the teacher doesn't notice that, that's a problem. Oh, he's outside catching butterflies. And that's super dangerous. Even with groundskeepers or landscapers, I don't see them with a pitchfork. I see them with other tools, but not a pitchfork. I don't know why they would do that other than for Loomer to have this, and that's super dangerous. I mean, somebody could get pretty seriously hurt with this. Them running with a pitchfork, yeah, that could be an issue. And he wants his... And I remember Ned wearing that disguise in the school clubs episode to hide from Missy. That's pretty funny. He's still standing there.
Prepared for today's test, Mr. Big B?
Teachers, by the way, don't typically use the student restrooms. I mean, they can. I don't see a lot of schools where people say do not use the student restrooms. Most teachers just prefer not to. There's usually a staff restroom or one in the teacher's lounge or workroom that's just, it's a little bit nicer, and importantly, it's private. It's a one-person bathroom, and using that, there's not, I guess, anything wrong with it, but it can lead to some awkward situations. Most teachers do go in there, though, to check that no shenanigans are going on in there. Most commonly, you see students just hanging out in there, skipping class or on their phone and stuff like that. So I'm going to assume that's why he went in there.
Big school survival tip. If you want to do well in school, you have to take solid notes. So here's some tips to make every notebook you own a golden notebook.
Okay, let's see.
First off, write neatly. If you can't read it, you can't study it.
Yeah, and that was kind of my problem. I had more of the writing on the left. It was really bad. It's still kind of bad to this day, but if I focus and slow down, I can write a little neater. And yeah, one of the reasons I love this show is because the tips are always really, really solid and would totally work in real life. So this is definitely a good tip.
Always write down what the teacher says, and if they say it twice, underline, because it will show
Good.
up on a test. Copy your notes in a second notebook. The act of rewriting helps you retain info and learn.
Yeah, true. I don't know many people that do this, but yeah, true. The act of writing it down, it just tends to stick better. That has been pretty well shown.
Nah. Still wasting your time writing your notes. Hey guys. Wow, I'm tired. I was up late for today's history test. Why does history always have to be a thing of the past? We have a history test?
Why does history always have to be a thing of the past? That's kind of by definition, but okay.
Today? How come I didn't know about this?
You
You
told
were
us about
asleep?
it yesterday.
I didn't watch yesterday's history tape.
There you go.
I haven't watched any tapes.
Yeah, this doesn't work unless you go back and watch the tapes, which I guess theoretically would take longer because you're in class and you're also having to spend time at home watching these. That I would just listen to it in class like everybody else.
I don't think Mr. Red's gonna let the cutout take the test.
What are you smiling at?
The whole school running after her. Yeah, and when stuff like this happens, it's like there's never any teachers around. And if students are walking around like this during a transition or something, there's going to be teachers in the hallway. I mean, someone would notice this immediately.
What are you guys talking about? I didn't write any of that stuff. And come on, a pitchfork? SC Susie Crabgrass? Who else could it be?
Yeah!
How could you write those lies about it?
Yeah! Guys, stop! This isn't Susie's notebook.
How do you know?
Because why would she write something bad about herself?
Susie's as dumb as a stub.
I am not. Okay, who wrote this notebook? Found this thing. It's tearing us apart. I can't believe the Wolves volleyball team made the playoffs. The Wolves volleyball team hasn't made the playoffs in 10 years. Aha! Don't you get it? This book was written years ago.
But it mentions all of us by name.
Yeah.
It mentions people named Susie, Billy, and Jennifer. Not exactly uncommon names.
True.
Sorry, Susie. I'll pick you up at 8.
That's pretty good. And yeah, it really reminds me of this burn book. I'm wondering where this thing came from. It was in the Lost and Found, and very typically schools will have some sort of Lost and Found, but it's not going to be in there for years. It's going to be in there for a much shorter time. The maximum, the absolute maximum would be less than 1 school year. I doubt it would make it the entire year, but I guess it could. That's kind of a stretch, but at the end of the year, you just throw all that stuff away or donate it or whatever, and then you start over.
I'm getting rid of this thing right now. Yeah.
Or,
So, when it comes to notebooks, Rose learned not to believe everything she reads. Cookie learned that, although it's old-fashioned, handwriting notes is still the best way to go.
these VHS tapes look old-fashioned to me, not so much the taking notes.
And I learned that nothing helps you study and do better in
Is
school
he gonna get
than a
caught?
well-written notebook.
Is he right behind him?
Mr.
Yeah. That's pretty good. He like propels down. Come on. He couldn't just hide behind the desk up there. That's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, it's just
Just getting busted for stealing my golden notebook,
Mm.
which I wrote.
Oh, it was him.
but
I just made up that story because I learned a long time ago that some students need to be tricked in order to learn.
I was going to say, if he had said, I learned a long time ago that I need to show students exemplars and show them what good work looks like, I'd be like, okay. But then he said, some students need to be tricked. Tricked. That doesn't sound quite as good, does it?
why didn't you just loan it to me?
Because then it would have been just another boring assignment for you to ignore.
Mm.
And you wouldn't have gotten an A on the test.
Okay. Well, it's not done with the best attitude, but you got to hand it to him. Did you see he was opening and shutting the notebook and playing with it and looking at it, and then he accidentally learned the material and made an A on the test? Okay, Mr. Sweeney, not bad.
And now, caramel covered apples with nuts to celebrate a job well done.
Okay.
Great idea, Sweeney.
Yeah, and those have been like up in the air duct, and probably shouldn't eat those.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, that was a fun one. I really enjoyed that one. That one might be one of my favorite episodes. Did enjoy it, and good for you, Mr. Sweeney. He set up that whole situation so that Ned would steal it, so that he would actually learn. You know, the best teachers do sort of go the extra mile and do things that cater to students' interests and needs. That's kind of what he did in a weird, kind of twisted way, but hey, it worked. So I don't hate that. Gordy, only one potential firing here on this episode. But I really enjoyed this one. Again, can't wait for the vice principals episode. I think it's coming up in 2 more. But I'm going to leave the video here. Don't forget to subscribe. If you watch these every week, please consider subscribing. Just hit the button down below. You won't regret it. I'll see you on the next video here on School Principal Reacts. Thanks for watching.